border wall will be wildlife conservation areas like this.
Friends, I'm going to call us back to order. Assuming our stated clerks will be returning very shortly. A little interesting bit of trivia I learned when I was sent to moderator school. There actually is a moderator school they send you to when you agree to do this in Louisville. And I learned that our two current co-moderators never actually met face-to-face until General Assembly. They were both independently talking to a mutual friend, and they didn't know each other, and they both independently said, I sense God wanting me to run for moderator, but I'd really prefer to run with the co-moderator. And he heard them both say this, and he said, I want to introduce you to somebody. And they talked on the phone, and they connected and formed a bond. And then they met each other at General Assembly. So God works in wonderful ways. Now, the chair would like to invite Commission Pastor Chris Baird to give our core Committee on Representation and Participation report. Chris here? Oh, there she is.
Is it still morning? I am Chris Baer, co-chair with Amy Meyer of CORP, Committee on Representation and Participation. Some of you may not know that we combined the Committee on Representation and the Committee on Nomination together, lost the nomination part of the title, and became the CORP, Committee on Representation and Participation, not to be confused with corpse. Thank you. I have some good news. Number one, nomination forms are now not only online, but they are fillable online. So type in the information, hit the button, and they go to her. They do not go to me. They do not go to Amy. They go to the stated clerk. That is our new procedure, and she gets them out to us. But we want to make sure that those forms get into the Presbytery office, where they will be kept and honored. Also, we are struggling hard to make sure that we have good regional representation on all our committees. This is a difficult thing, folks, to get folks, particularly from those places that are far, far away, like the Rio Grande Valley, like my home group in Corpus Christi and that area, like the Victoria region. So if you know people from anywhere, but especially those places where we have difficulty getting representation, if you know people who are willing to serve, even if there's no opening on the committee this year, get them to nominate, or you nominate them. And please remember, when you give us names, we need contact information. I'm sorry, it's not telepathic. We cannot get a hold of these people if we don't know how to do that. So get us that information, please, please, please. And before we go to the motion we're bringing, a reminder that Presbytery will pay travel expenses. If you are coming from a long ways away, and it's difficult for you to come up with those expenses, Presbytery will pay you mileage and even an overnight at a motel if that's what it takes to get you here to be active. So those forms are online. Your committee chairs should be sharing those forms with you every time you have a meeting. And they're fillable online as well. Okay, we bring, just a second. We bring the following people to you to elect to committees. First of all, to Church Development and Evangelism, we nominate Rolando Montsavals from Harlingen. The Committee on Ministry, we nominate Ruling Elder Bonnie Wilkinson from Victoria. To the Committee on Preparation for Ministry, we nominate Ruling Elder Debbie Warden from Austin. To the Education and Congregational Nurture Committee, we nominate Megan Ludwig, teaching elder from Beeville. To Fiscal Oversight, class of 2021, we nominate Ruling Elder Carl Spinner. And finally, we nominate teaching elder Emily Owen of Austin to the Pastoral Care Committee. That is our motion.
Thank you, Chris. The motion before us is to approve the slate as presented with the following addition: Ruling Elder Carl Spinner to the Stewardship and Fiscal Oversight Committee for the class of 2020. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Questions?
I had a question about the fillable form.
Okay.
Does it include the date and the time of the meetings?
Date and times of meetings?
No, the fillable form would not include date and times of meetings. It's the form for nominations, so it's a form that's used for all of the committees. Mm-hmm. That information, however, should be available on the website under each of the committees with the description when they meet.
Thank you.
Also, your contact person from our committee should be giving that information to people as we talk to them about being on the committee. Any
other nominations from the floor? Then let's proceed to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion passes, and we thank all of you who have agreed to serve on a committee or a commission. That concludes your report. Thank you. The chair invites the Reverend Kevin Keaton to bring greetings from the Board of Pensions.
Friends, it is always a great joy and treat to be back in Mission Presbytery, the presbytery of my ordination, so if you don't like my report, it's partly your own fault. Want to bring you up to date on several new bits of good news from the board. We continue to experience growth in our plan. We have grown 24% since the new plan was rolled out in 2017. We have continued to see more people participating in the medical plan, almost 15,000 people there, and a total of almost 65,000 people enrolled in all of our plans. This is not just growth for growth's sake. Please keep in mind the board was experiencing a decline of about 5% a year in the medical plan. There was basically people retiring. Now we are seeing growth, which makes a huge difference when the board goes out to a Highmark, to an Optum, to an Aetna for bids on the third-party administration. Therefore, we are able to negotiate lower costs for administering our plan. Remember, we are self-funded. Our health care is break-even in menu options. It is a pay-as-you-go plan. And that is part of our administration and good stewardship of the dollars with which we are entrusted. We also want to lift up and bring to you, and I keep pointing, I'll point, which way do I? Thank you.
Nope. There it goes.
Oh,
All right.
it's that afternoon touch. Not only do we, that management of the plan means not only are we fully funded, but also you have already seen that we no longer will be charging vacancy dues as of the first of this year. Yeah. I hate to bring you that news. Technically speaking, we stopped billing churches back in December. Just because that was the right thing to do. Now, the post-retirement service dues still are in effect, but that will be repurposed and more will be coming forth on that. We continue to be fully funded with our pension plan so that good folks, or folks like Fred Morgan, can still get their pension. I also want to bring you an update on two new initiatives we have. The Sabbath sabbatical support grants, as well as Healthy Pastors, Healthy Congregations. The important one will be the second one, but I want to let you know about Sabbath sabbatical support. This is funding for people who are going on sabbatical. We're expanding that to include those interim and transitional pastors who have been in the plan for at least 6 years. We also are expanding that to presbytery staff. Now, there are some qualification requirements that are built in. You can see me about that, and you have to demonstrate the need, and you have to have a plan. It's just not money to go do, anyway. But we are expanding that because we understand that there is profound need to continue to support the growth of pastors in ministry. Benefits are part of the way you attract and keep, but also motivate church staff. And this is one of the ways you can do that. The one thing that I do really want to emphasize today is healthy pastors, healthy congregations. This was a pilot in North Carolina that we have run for the last several years that has been very effective, and we're launching it nationwide. We have a goal of giving out 500 grants of up to $10,000 each in the next 3 years. I have a personal goal of seeing that we give out at least 50 of those grants in the next year and a half in my service region. Healthy Pastors, Healthy Congregations is a program of financial education for pastors and for the session. And upon completion, the pastor will receive either up to $10,000 grant that will be paid to the loan agency or directly to Fidelity to jumpstart retirement savings in the retirement savings plan. Now I may have your attention now. So, how are we going to do that? Well, eligibility is you have to be enrolled in pastor's participation. Secondly, you have to have a household median where the adjusted gross income is twice the median salary. Okay, pastors who took theology, Greek, and Hebrew, I'm going to be talking math now. I will speak slowly. The church-wide median is 59.1. Multiply that by 2. Okay, I'll give that one to you. That's $118,200. That's for you and your spouse, but that does not include housing allowance. Okay, so 118 minus housing. Ooh, wait just a minute. I think we just qualified. Most people will qualify. You also may not have a total net worth of more than $250,000. That does not include the equity in your home, nor does it include your auto or the value of your autos, or in the case of a few of you, your fleet of autos. The pastoral education, it's not hard. These are online learning modules and an individual telephonic consultation with Ernst & Young. Those who participated in the pilot program told us over and over that the financial guidance from Ernst & Young was worth the time by itself. I mean, they liked the grant of $10,000, but they highly valued Ernst & Young. And then the congregational leadership education is a 2-hour in-person seminar. It is first done in the first hour of a Bible study of the theology of benefits. The second hour is done talking about the financial realities of pastors. 2 hours from folks from the church. We preferably would like the session there. In a large church, we would like the personnel committee to be there. If the chair of personnel is not there, we do have remedial education. No, we really we need the folks who are the decision makers about benefits in the room for those seminars. I'm going to be working with Sally and Trish and other leadership to put together some regional meetings so that instead of these being one-offs, that groups of pastors and sessions can come together over 2 hours and qualify for this. 2 hours for a session to get $10,000 for your pastor. How hard can it be? Friends, I look forward to working with you. I have more information on healthy pastors, healthy congregations that's available. Please see me. One final note on this. In case you have already looked at this, on Thursday, I got an email with an update. The $10,000 was being interpreted as being a grant to a church, so that if there were multiple people on the staff, it would be split among the staff. With no aspersions on how that was interpreted previously, as of Thursday of this week, that $10,000 will apply to any pastor who participates in the education, and they end their session. So if you have multiple people on staff, they potentially all could be eligible for up to $10,000. I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you for this time and for this opportunity. Blessings.
Thank you. The chair invites Reverend Laura Walters to give the Committee on Preparation for Ministry report.
Nothing like following someone that's offering $10,000 to their pastors. I don't got that. My name is Reverend Laura Walters, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. This is one of those rare occasions where the CPM does not have a person to present to you for candidacy examination. But I'm not going to step off quite so soon. I want to tell you a little bit about what's going on with the CPM. I co-chair the CPM with Kathy Eskandel. I enjoy that. It's a great committee, and she's down in the border, or on the border, and working for First McAllen, doing some really, really good work down there. We've heard a few times during this meeting that the world is changing rapidly. God is always, always doing a new thing, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. And some of these changes affect the church across the board, including CPM. For example, it's increasingly the case that individuals are coming to us for discernment and for preparation well into their seminary career and even after they finish seminary. So I recently learned that nationally only 1/5 of our inquirers and candidates under care are still enrolled in seminary. I know, it surprised me too. It really did. It's a big change, and it's a big change that affects the way that the CPM does business. And it presents a few challenges. So one of the challenges is that our process is lengthy. The BOO, the Book of Order, says that it takes at least no less than 2 years for people to be under care, and there is nothing we can do about that. If someone waits until they are about to graduate or until after they've graduated, and they now need a job, they need a way to support themselves, they need a place to live, it still takes 2 years. Now, we are a fun committee, and hanging out with us for 2 years is not a bad gig, but a person's got to eat, and a person needs a place to live. The other challenge is that this process is a bit rigorous, meaning that we give our inquirers and candidates some requirements and some recommendations. You all want us to do that. It's our job to do that. And some of those requirements and recommendations are more conveniently fulfilled while a person is in seminary, and that's for cost reasons and also for scheduling reasons. And so I started wringing my hands going, oh my gosh, what are we going to do about this? And then one night I was up really, really late and I couldn't go to sleep, and so I picked up our over 100-page advisory handbook that's put out by our denomination for CPMs. And lo and behold, I discovered that this wasn't just a Mission Presbytery problem. This was a problem that was happening nationally. It's happening across the board within our denomination. And so the first thing I said was, whew, I am glad it's not just me. And then I read on, and the handbook gave us a few suggestions. And this is where you all come in, because I have a huge favor to ask of you all. So if you, at your churches, because our calls come through our churches and our community, if you know somebody that is considering entering seminary, or if you know somebody that is already in seminary, please check in with them and make sure they know about this ecclesiastical process. Make sure they know about the length. Make sure they know about the requirements that they may be required to fulfill. Encourage them. Even if they tell you, I am 100% sure I do not want to seek ordination. Y'all, I was 100% sure I did not want to work in a church and seek ordination. Tell them to come talk to one of the CPM chairs. We are happy to meet with them. We will not take their firstborn. We will not make them sign up. We will not make them sign their name in blood. We just want to have a conversation with them. We just want to make sure that they can make an informed choice. And along those lines, if you all, as churches and as sessions, need more information about the way CPM does its business, I would welcome coming and talking to your session or having coffee with you guys. We can't do it alone. We've got to do this together, and so we are asking you to do that. Now, I've got a few motions to present to you all, very short. So the Committee on Preparation for Ministry presents the following motions: that Mission Presbytery concur with the action of CPM to remove Stephanie Butler from the roles as an inquirer at her request.
You've heard the motion for the Presbytery to concur with the action of the CPM to remove Stephanie Butler from the roles as an inquirer at her request. Coming from a committee, it does not need a second. Is there any discussion, question, or debate? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion passes.
And CPM also moves that Mission Presbytery concur with the action of CPM to remove Chelsea McCutcheon from the roles as a candidate at her request.
The motion is for the Presbytery to concur with the action of CPM to remove Chelsea McCutcheon from the roles as a candidate at her request. Coming from a committee, it does not require a second. Any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion passes.
Okay, unless you all have any questions for me, that concludes our report. I brought my calendar, so if anybody wants to set up coffee. Okay.
The chair invites Sherry Kenny to bring greetings from the Presbyterian Foundation.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Madam Clerk. I'm Sherry Hester Kenny, and I represent the Presbyterian Foundation in Colorado, where I live, in Denver, and in the Synod of the Sun, where I grew up, in Lubbock. The Presbyterian Foundation was created in 1799 to be the trustee for the Presbyterian Church. And in that capacity, we invest funds for churches and for other Presbyterian entities. Many of you are invested with the foundation, and we thank you for that partnership. Now, I understand there's something called the Texas Presbyterian Foundation, and I get it. I'm a Texan. It's a whole nother country. Even if your funds are invested with TPF, there are still ways for you to partner with VPF. Online giving. We offer an online giving program through Vanco. Our fee is a flat 2%. So if you are using any other provider, including if you're going directly to Vanco, you're paying more than is required. I try not to get hung up on the cost of online giving, because I think the important thing is that you are offering online giving as a giving option at your church. Legacy giving. The foundation has a program called Live Forward, Give Forward, where we encourage faithful Presbyterians to have a will and to remember your church in their will. So if some of you pastors are not comfortable having that conversation with your members, please let us help make it more comfortable for you. Donor advised funds. This is the #1 charitable gifting vehicle right now in the United States, and it's become even more popular with our new tax laws. A donor advised fund is like a simplified family foundation, and everyone in this room would probably enjoy having one. And if you're a church treasurer or a pastor, I'd love to spend a little time with you explaining to you how to thank your members and donors for gifts from donor advised funds, because it's a little bit different than a direct gift to the church. So that's just a sampling of the resources available to you through the foundation. And don't forget to use me. I'm your human resource. I'm on the phone at least once a day with a pastor or a stewardship chair, and sometimes the conversation begins, "I'm sorry to bother you, and I just want to assure you I don't consider it a bother. I consider it job security, and I am willing to do anything, including preach a stewardship sermon for you to support the funds ministry at your church." A couple of dates. Monday, March the 4th, day after tomorrow, the foundation is launching a program called Stewardship Navigator. It's an online resource that will allow your stewardship chair or your pastor, whoever's involved in stewardship at your church, to plan and hold the stewardship program that your church will use throughout the year. This is the most exciting tool the foundation has brought out since I've been with them over the last 5 years. So check it out, PresbyterianFoundation.org. September 30th to October 2nd is our Stewardship Kaleidoscope Conference. Sally has attended, Elizabeth has attended, others of you have attended. This is a premier National Stewardship Conference. There are scholarships available through Stewardship Kaleidoscope and through the foundation for pastors. So I encourage you to attend, and I hope to see you there. Thank you for time on your docket.
Thank you, Sherry. Now the chair would like to invite Henry Owen, our director of John Knox Ranch, to give an update.
Hi, folks. We got a video we're going to start with here in just a minute.
Hi, my name is Karen Ware Jackson. I'm pastor at Faith Presbyterian Church in Greensboro, North Carolina. I was a camper at John Knox starting in 1990. I was there every summer, and I was on staff from 1999 to 2003 as a counselor, as a director, and even though it's been a few years since I've been to John Knox, this is not a place that you forget. This is a place that leaves its mark on you forever. John Knox is where I first learned what it means to be the church, to be a community of grace and justice, of mercy, of hope, and most of all, of love. A community where your identity doesn't lie in your beauty or your money or even the gifts and skills that you might bring to a group. Your value is in your identity as a child of God, that you are beloved of God and that you are loved by all of us. You belong to God and you belong to all of us. And the same is true of John Knox. This is a place that is beloved of God and beloved of all of us. It belongs to God and it belongs to all of us. And this is a place that can change lives for many years to come.
My name is Henry Owen, and I am so grateful to be the director of John Knox Ranch. I was privileged actually to be a camper and a counselor with Karen. I started going to John Knox at age 8 and didn't miss a summer through age 23. And now I am back as the director. You all had the privilege of meeting my wife, Emily Owen, yesterday. who is serving at Hyde Park. Together we have 2 boys, Ross, age 5, and Jack Henry, age 8, and they are the most excited about getting to live at John Knox Ranch. As a camper and a counselor, I have experienced firsthand the loving, transformational experience that it is John Knox Ranch. We foster experiences of Christian community in the beauty of God's creation. JKR is a place where love, acceptance, grace, and fun flow freely. We have a fantastic summer planned. It starts with a Rally Day open house on Saturday, March 23rd. That is a free and open, fun day for anybody to come out. So we're going to serve lunch, we're going to give camp tours, we're going to have staff there answering questions, showing you the cabins. We're going to have our high ropes course open. So if you personally want to bring your family out, then your kids get to watch you go on our big screamer swing, which would be a whole lot of fun. So please join us for that day personally, March 23rd, but also encourage your congregations to do so as well. We're launching a new program this summer called Family Camp. So in the summer, this is the first time we're going to try this during the summertime, we will have our camp staff there to bring the fun and the energy, but we want families to come out and stay in a cabin. We have cabins that are screened. We have cabins that have air conditioning and bathrooms. So your family comes out and stays there, and then as a family, you get to participate in all the fun summer camp activities. Some people ask me, well, how young or how old do you have to be to come to family camp? You're in charge of your kids while you're there. So if you want to bring an infant, great. Bring them on out. We have really super cute JKR Future Camper onesies that you can get them in our camp store while you're there. Camp is more fun when it is full. This is your summer camp ministry program, so we would love your help filling camp. Last week I sent out a summer camp sharing toolkit that had a link to our website, and that webpage had all kinds of resources that you could use to help promote summer camp with your congregation. So if you need help sending out an email or posting to social media, there are videos and graphics. There's a bulletin insert that you can print and stuff, all kinds of stuff there. So please let me know if you need access to that and you did not already get it. We do have scholarships available for camp. We want this sort of experience to be available for everybody that wants to come. So please know that we will get kids to camp who want to be there. Right now, we are working really hard to get ready for summer camp. So when your kids come out this summer, they will see that we have relined the pool. These are projects that are underway, so they're not done yet, but we are going to get them done before the summer. We will have relined our pool. We will have totally redesigned and rebuilt our pool bathhouse. And we will have remodeled the bathroom and living room in Calvin Cottage, which is one of the oldest buildings that's on the ranch. That building, Calvin Cottage, is available for your use as church leaders. So we are actually going to send out a postcard in the next month or so to all of you for a free night stay as a respite in that cottage. It is a great place for writing sermons or for not writing sermons. We're working hard to get summer camp ready. We also need your help with that. So if you've got some skilled labor at your church or some unskilled labor at your church that is willing, we need you out to do a volunteer day. We've got one scheduled on Saturday, May 11th. That's a come one, come all, individual to a big group. Anybody is welcome on May 11th. If that doesn't fit and you want to schedule a specific day for your church, we can make that happen as well. So I am going to be in the exhibitor hall later on. Please come and see me. I've got information about all the stuff that I have talked about. Now I want to invite Reverend Elise Neal up from Northminster Presbyterian Church in San Antonio. She is on the John Knox Ranch committee, and she has a message from the committee.
Thank you, Henry. Welcome, everyone. Grace and peace to you all. The John Knox Ranch Steering Committee would like to formally thank you, the Presbytery, for the kindness and generosity and the unity shown in removing the debts that JKR has incurred with the Presbytery. The last 4 years have been difficult for the ranch. The 2015 floods devastated the ranch physically and financially. Rebuilding the dining hall, mitigating flood damage to the buildings, and clearing away debris are just some of the effects. The focus on rebuilding the ranch has had unfortunate effects of the impact the already declined summer camp enrollment and its numbers. We knew that the incoming director, Henry Owen, would have his work cut out for him, continuing to rebuild the ranch, revitalizing summer camp, managing off-season programs, and figuring out how to pay off these debts. The removal of this financial burden is one less thing that the committee and the director have to worry about as we decide the direction that John Knox takes in the near future. Equally as important is the messaging that the unity that writing off this debt communicates. It sends the message to John Knox Ranch, its committee, director, the counselors, the campers, the alumni, that the church is 100% behind us. And for this, we are so very grateful. John Knox Ranch is your camp and retreat ministry program. This place is very special, and we believe that it can continue to provide the positive community and faith-forming experiences that many of us had growing up. We want you all to know how much we appreciate this and that we appreciate the opportunity that it provides to continue this important ministry and mission together in Christ, written by Andrew Braddock, clerk of the John Knox Ranch Committee. It is with our heartfelt thanks as the committee has met. We are grateful for your support, and we are grateful for your commitment. And my hope for all of us, as you all don't know me because I'm brand new here, but I love church camp and conference ministry. And what Henry is going to do and what we are going to do together is going to be amazing. So with 130 churches in our presbytery, because that's what we have roughly, you can help us fill camp this summer. 80 campers each week, 7 weeks. And even if you don't have children or youth in your congregation, you can still help us fill camp with a donation of $500. $500 sends a kid to camp. And we want to have 100% support and 100% full, because then together, John Knox and Mission Presbytery will be successful. We are better together. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I'd like to invite Reverend Ellen Hensel Williams to bring an update from our Youth Connection Committee.
Hello again, everyone. As the Youth Connection Committee, our responsibility is to bring youth and adults from Mission Presbytery together to give our youth an experience of the connectional church, to get them involved at the presbytery level. It is to plan events that will stimulate the life of faith of our young people. And it is also to support and resource those of you in our presbytery who are in ministry with young people. We want to be a resource and a support in any way that we can. And Caitlin Subkoff, our staff person, our youth and young adult advocate, is working on gathering resources on the Presbytery website and things like that so that we can do a better job of supporting and resourcing all of you in your ministries. First of all, I want to say thank you Yesterday, we asked you to support travel to Triennium for the youth in our presbytery. Thank you so much for giving $3,016 towards our $11,000 expense. Thank you, and it's not too late to give. We do need $11,000 to get our kids there, so you can contact the Presbytery office if you didn't get a chance to donate yesterday. One of our signature events each year is Midwinters at Moe Ranch. We had almost 400 people, youth and adults, come together from across the Presbytery for Midwinters at Moe Ranch to meet at the crossroads and learn about different ways of knowing Christ and walking with Christ in our daily lives. Our next big event coming up is Youth at Presbytery. So at the June Presbytery meeting, we gather youth from across the Presbytery to observe the Presbytery meeting, and we will also be commissioning our Triennium participants this year and offering training for them as well. So because of that, usually we look for 2 youth delegates from each church for Youth at Presbytery, but because there are going to be more people coming together for Triennium, we're expanding the number of youth that you can send. So the way that they become involved in Youth at Presbytery is through a nomination process. So we'll have that form live for you soon if it's not already live on the Presbytery website, and you can nominate up to 4? You can nominate as many people, as many youth from your church as you'd like to come and participate in the Presbytery meeting in June in San Antonio. And just one other note, Caitlin is going to be on maternity leave starting in April and May. So if you have any questions or if you need anything during that time, please contact myself or the Reverend Katie Walters, who's a pastor in New Braunfels. She and I are the co-chairs of the committee, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. We hope that by the June meeting, we'll have a full calendar of events for the 2019-2020 school year, so you can plan to bring your youth to all the amazing things that we do together as a presbytery. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those special donations can be made payable to Mission Presbytery and then designated for whether it's disaster relief, particular area, or in this case, Youth Triennium. The chair is pleased to invite the Reverend John Rennick to bring greetings all the way from Louisville, Kentucky, and from the Presbyterian Mission Agency.
Good morning. My name is John Reining, and I am the Associate for Church Support at the Presbyterian Mission Agency for Special Offerings. It's my joy and honor to be with you this weekend, I guess. I'll be worshiping at Westminster tomorrow, and very excited about that as well. We're better together is the phrase that keeps getting repeated here, and I find it interesting, I find it exciting. It's a great phrase. It's one that we've been using for a year and a half now, too, with special offerings. You may have seen it on some of the materials that we've sent to you, some of the many that we send you to remind you that we exist. This year we expanded it. We expanded it to say, we are the church together, open the doors. It's this idea that we are here together, we do the work of the church together, and as we do that together, we need to remember to open the doors, to invite those that are on our threshold to come in, to join us, to go out into the world, and to do that ministry that we talk about. It echoes the connectionality of our church, something we say so often it seems to lose significance as Presbyterians. In the calls, in the emails, in the travel that I get to do, I get to see that. I get to come to Mission Presbytery and see how you do it. I get to go to mission or to Presbyterian meetings in Kentucky and in New Jersey and all over this place, and I get to see this at work. And while every place is different, every congregation is different, every Presbyterian synod does it differently, we're all together in this. We're all together in this. The special offerings are an opportunity for us to be church together. Church happens when we do the work of God, when we are worshiping God, when we pray for those that are in need among us, when we pray for those that are in need not among us. We are church when we provide shelter or food to those that are in need or that have been struck by disaster. And this presbytery knows that far better than many. We are church when peacemakers broker conversations in communities that have not experienced that in many years. We are church when we establish loan programs and agricultural training programs for women who may have otherwise not been able to support themselves and their families. We are church when we speak out against injustice, when we provide leaders from underserved communities the opportunity to be trained, to come forward, to grow, and to lead their communities into new places. We are church when hope is rebuilt. We are church when peace is spread, when justice is proclaimed, when hunger is ended, when the oppressed are set free. You have made church possible. The General Assembly has designated the special offerings to build the infrastructure, so to speak, to make that work happen. Through the One Great Hour of Sharing, the Pentecost offering, the Peace and Global Witness offering, and the Christmas Joy offering, you have done those precise things. Because of you, we have been the church together. Because of your support of the special offerings, we are church, and we can continue to be the church. I'm going to name a few congregations. Now, many of you, if not all of you, have participated in the special offerings. This is One Great Hour Sharing has been around for 70 years this year. That's something you'll see more about, especially if you follow us online. But I do want to name a couple of congregations, 33 to be precise, that have taken all four of the special offerings in recent years. So if I say your congregation's name, please stand. Alice First Presbyterian Church, Austin Faith Presbyterian Church, Austin Genesis Presbyterian Church, Hyde Park in Austin, St. John's in Austin, University in Austin, St. Mark in Austin, Copperas Cove First, Corpus Christi Parkway, Cuero First, Georgetown San Gabriel, Gonzalez Presbyterian Church, Forest Hills in Helotes, La Furia New Hope Presbyterian Church, First in Luling, St. Andrew in Marble Falls, First in McAllen, New Braunfels, Lavaca First, Rockport First, Round Rock First, Divine Redeemer in San Antonio, Grace in San Antonio, Northwood in San Antonio, St. Andrew in San Antonio, University in San Antonio, Grace in Victoria, and Wimberley Presbyterian Church. And then the next four I set aside because they have been, and my records could be wrong, so if I didn't name your church, come find me, I'll fix everything. But the next four have been doing it, and my records show for over 15 years. For 17 years, Austin Central Presbyterian Church. For 18 years, Westminster in Austin. For 20 years, First Presbyterian in Austin and First in Kerrville. Thank you for your outstanding and generous support. Please be seated. You are a model of generosity for many and for those in your community, and we need you to know that and to be encouraged, and the rest of us to be encouraged to be 444, so to speak. If you stood up, your congregation has a certificate with me in the other room. They're very nice, they're pretty, they're in blue folders, and I can't take them home. So please come and get them. But thank you for your generosity. Because of what you do, because of your generosity, and because of your faithful giving, we are able to be the church. Mission Presbytery has given, in just the last 5 years, over $740,000 to the special offerings. And that is outstanding. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your ministry in all of it that you do locally, internationally, and especially for what you do through the Presbyterian Mission Agency and the special offerings. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair now invites the Reverend Clara Berry to give the Mission Outreach and Justice Committee report.
Good morning. I'm Claire Berry. I'm an associate pastor at Westlake Hills Presbyterian Church, and I'm here on behalf of the Mission Outreach and Justice Committee. I want to invite the Reverend Webster Donald Kaisi to come forward as I introduce him. I do encourage you to read our written report that's in your packet, but we're going to use our time today.
Members, I have just given to her about the handouts of the speech that I'm going to present here, because some of you might not understand me about the accent that I have. Thank you. With the few minutes that have been given, moderator, vote of thanks, greetings in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. As one of your guest moderator, as our tradition, I donate a token of appreciation to God's ministry that you have here with $20, moderator. I greet you. My description and appreciation, I am called Webster Donald Cuthbert Kaisi, as she has already mentioned, and I am here in the U.S. land because of your hand in Africa. Moderator, thank you for your missions. And again, I am appreciating for your God's missionary work in Africa throughout my year here at APTS. Without your support, I would be a failure. The fourth issue is that as a Presbyterian church in Africa, Malawi, since it started in 1875 up to this present time, it is surely dependent upon you people, your prayers, and your support. And as we are here being trained, moderator, where I am earnestly requesting you that we continue joining hands with each other, visit us in Africa, come and see the feedback, communicate with us through the webpage that we have. I have written it in those papers, and sometimes invite us again so that we can give some reports. And we have a lot of challenges in Africa. Currently, we have some issues like the mysterious killing of albinos, people with albinism. And we have discovered that that issue is the people who are behind it are the witch doctors. So, moderator, I dedicated my life as a pastor, as one of your pastors in Africa, to conduct pastoral care. So, in pastoral care, moderator, we work hand in hand with politicians to communicate with the government and to contact the people in different faiths so that we civic educate and win them to the Lord. So we support them. Sometimes we invite the people in the communities where we are placed. We invite them for the dinner, to have dinner party. In such interactions, we are able to know how we can win them to Christ. So, moderator, the major plea before you, moderator, with these few minutes, I earnestly request you, moderator, through your fellow pastors, lay leaders, to come in Africa and work with us so that tomorrow when Jesus Christ comes, we'll richly reward you, moderator. With these few remarks, let me thank you so much. Thank you.
The Presbyterian Church USA and the Church of Central Africa Presbyterian Livingstonia Synod of Malawi have been longtime friends, and we are honored to have you with us today. Thank you so much for your words. The chair would now like to invite Rita Livingston to give the Stewardship and Fiscal Oversight Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I'm Rita Livingston from Central in Austin. I'm going to start out with the stewardship part of this report, and this is the exciting part because we are doing the Better Together Fund grants again this year. We have $24,000 to give away. We didn't make that mark last year. And it's to, as last year, we want the grant to further the mission of Mission Presbytery. Applications for capital improvements, unfortunately, will not be funded. So don't think you can get a new roof or you can get a new something else for your church. That's not the purpose, okay? It's really to work together. So if you go to the Mission Presbytery website, there are numerous places where those guidelines are available for you to read. The application form is included in those guidelines. This year, we also included just the application form as a Word document. So if you don't have, if you're not PDF literate in order to get that application form out of that PDF document, you can use the Word document to fill it out. So we hope that that's helpful. Remember that you have to secure the endorsement of a committee. And committee chairs, I hope you will be really supportive of people who ask your committee to support their endeavor. If you need to use a Zoom conference or an email conference to get that vote for support, I hope you will do so. And we will not be considering applications without committee endorsement and an attachment of their minutes that show that they approved that. So it's important that you get that done and get it done earlier. If you have any questions, I'll be around for a little bit after this and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Or you can go to the Mission Presbytery website and my name is listed as the chair of the committee and my email is there and I'm more than happy to communicate with you. The other exciting thing is you've already heard about the Kaleidoscope Conference. And we have $500 to give out as scholarships for people to go. We'd like to do 5 $100 scholarships. That's not a lot, but it's a little bit to support you to take part in that. So if you're interested in that, please contact me and let me know. You'll notice that there wasn't much financial information in my report this time. The books for 2018 have not been closed out because we had some little extra things that had to happen. And Jeannie has been very busy and working very diligently. That's Jeannie Morgan, our accountant. And so those should be finished by the end of March. And we will make that available to you in some format. I'm not quite sure. You won't have to wait till the June Presbytery meeting to see that, but we'll get it out to you. We'll be issuing requests after by our April meeting, and hopefully maybe even March, to different firms to invite them to present what am I trying to say? I didn't write it down. Work at from scratch. So you have been very patient with us and know that that's appreciated. And having said all of that, we need your donations to Presbytery. You have heard all of the exciting things that are going on in our Presbytery at this meeting. It all takes support. It doesn't happen without your support. So please, get your churches to give to Presbytery. Thank you so much. That concludes my report, Mr. Moderator. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Answer questions. You have a question?
Yeah.
Bart Roush from Madison Square in San Antonio. I understand why we don't have a report, but knowing we don't have a report, could you say, if possible, can you talk a little bit more about the incident of fraud?
Yes, I can. There was an online scam that got a person in the San Antonio area to participate, and the check that was given was looked like it came from Mission Presbytery. It had what appeared to be electronic copies of our treasurer and assistant treasurer's signatures on the check, which in and of itself is a red flag because they never sign the check, both of them. It's either Sally or Trish or some other signature, and either the treasurer or the assistant treasurer. Also, the number of the check was way out of line for the checks that are being written, and Jeannie noticed that very quickly when that came through, because she does monitor our financial accounts on almost a daily basis. So we reported it. It was reported to the Alamo Heights Police. It was reported to the bank, and we will get that money back. And anybody else?
It was taken from designated or restricted money, and then we're going to have to pay ourselves back on that. That part, and that's why there's a delay in reporting on this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, did you hear what Sally said? Okay. Come to the microphone.
Sally Watson, Mission Presbytery. I can't remember right now if it was, Trish, it was designated or restricted? Designated. It was taken out of our designated account, and so we are having to, we had to close that account out, start a new account, new numbers. We had to notify everybody, all the numbers, and so we're gonna, that has taken, it's gonna take a month or so to work that out, and then we're making those obligations, I think, out of our general account right now, and so we're gonna have to pay ourselves back when that gets done.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Thank you for
it's
that.
under control.
Thank you for that piece of information. So we're good, but in order to be transparent, we just wanted you to know that that did occur. But it's all taken care of, and we're good. And, you know, there's a chance it could happen again at some point in time, but we're monitoring, so that's the good news. And then Trish just reminded me that I thought somebody else was going to do this, but I'm responsible for doing it. So the committee makes the Stewardship and Fiscal Oversight Committee moves that we elect the Reverend Leslie Ellison to serve as treasurer for this year, for 2019, and ruling elder Thurman Atkins to serve as the assistant treasurer for Mission Presbytery.
Our Stewardship and Oversight Committee has moved that we elect Reverend Leslie Ellison to serve as treasurer and ruling elder Thurman Atkins to serve as assistant treasurer for our presbytery. Coming from a committee, motion does not need a second. But are there any discussion, questions, debate? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. And the motion passes.
Mr. Moderator, I think this really does conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. The chair invites the Reverend John Rogers to give the church.
Roberts. I goofed.
The chair invites the Reverend John Roberts to give the Church Development and Evangelism Committee report. Sorry about that.
Thank you. I've certainly been called worse, so I didn't know if you wanted me to sing It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Again, John Roberts from Grace in Corpus. With Church Development Evangelism, I went to one meeting. I just got on the committee, so they sent me here to give the report. So I am now the expert on Church Development Evangelism. No, it was a good meeting. We met pretty much full day at Sally's house, and as you can see, there's a written report. There is some conversation about new church plant in Austin, and in terms of transformation, we're very excited that Mission Presbytery got selected to be part of the, it says vibrant congregation, but that's also true. Vital Congregations is the name of that. And April 1st is the deadline, and I'm really hopeful. I'll be working with Leon and Reverend Leon with that and Vital Congregations, and I'm really hopeful that you will consider that and do that. It is a way to get some help. We always need to revitalize our congregations. One of the discussions that I had with Sally about this, I think it's good for every congregation to wrestle with and address, and just it raises a question, and if it raises cognitive dissonance in your minds, that's good. Let it be there. Is your church better at attracting new people or keeping the ones you have happy? Or both? Probably not both. So part of evangelism is to look at that question and wrestle with that question, and then to ask yourself, was Jesus better at attracting new people or keeping the ones he had happy? Those are actually really good questions for us as congregations to wrestle with. The Philippians Project had a retreat, and they're in their last year of their program, and there is monies available, grants, 3 $750 grants, and I hope we'll get lots of applications for that, and 1 3-year grant of $7,500. But I'm really hopeful that you all will consider being part of the Vital Congregations Initiative and get your congregation revitalized for the future. And that concludes my report. Mr. Rogers is out. A question? Uh-oh.
Yes, Kyle Walker, Faith Presbyterian in Austin. There was mention made of a new church possibility in Austin. Do we know anything more about that? Location, anything?
I will after my next meeting.
Okay.
I don't, go ahead, Sally. I don't know a whole lot I don't want to misspeak.
Sally Watson, Mission Presbytery. As I understand it, Kyle, are there any folks here from Dripping still? I understand that Dripping Springs wants to celebrate its 10th anniversary as a new congregation by starting a new congregation. And so they are still kind of in the planning phases of that. And they are looking at, I think, around Buda or your namesake, Kyle, to look and start the church there.
Okay, is it a mission church of them? How is that?
It's going to be a new church development of Mission Presbytery. We're going to partner with them to do that.
Okay.
So cross your fingers, pray for them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John. The chair invites Dr. Tom Turk to bring greetings from Puentes de Cristo and Building Healthy Temples. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great to have you here.
Hi. Greetings. I'm Thomas Turk from the First Presbyterian McAllen, and I'm the current president of the board of Puentes de Cristo in Hidalgo, Texas. Hidalgo, Texas is on the border across the Rio Grande from Reynosa, Mexico, just south of McAllen. Puentes de Cristo started almost 40 years ago in 1981 by members of FPC McAllen with the mission to proclaim the gospel of Christ and serve the spiritual, physical, and emotional needs of the poor and most needy along the U.S.-Mexico border. In the 1980s and 1990s, church groups from all over the United States traveled to Hidalgo and mostly crossed into Mexico, where they had projects, construction projects, medical clinics, evangelism, teachings. But over the past almost 15 years, as violence in Mexico has increased due to the drug cartels, these projects slowed down. And then in 2011, when the Mexican Presbyterian Church broke off their relationship with Peace USA, these programs stopped. Since that time, with the hard work of Andres and Gloria Garcia, who were former Peace USA missionaries in Africa, they had moved to the valley to work with Puentes at that time. They were able to reestablish a relationship with the Presbytery of Tamaulipas and as a distinct organization. And so at present, we are still able to work with the pastors in Mexico in the Reynosa area. In 2017, we taught a 6-month dental assistant course at the dormitory facility in Reynosa. We had 14 graduates. 7 of those graduates went on to continue their studies at the university in Reynosa. Our dentist from Mexico, who's a FPC McAllen member, Dr. Francisco Reyes, is continuing to work in Mexico, and he's currently established a dental clinic at the immigrant center, Senda de Vida, which is Way of Life, just across, just over the bridge from Hidalgo. And he has dental clinics every Saturday, currently, for the immigrants mostly from Central America. But over the past year, with the difficulties working in Mexico, we are now looking to work focus our efforts more on this side of the border. And last year, we received a grant from the Peace USA General Assembly from the unassigned funds a grant for a study on diabetes and healthy lifestyles in the Rio Grande Valley. And this program, we're Actually, we'll be starting that this month. We'll be having nutrition classes and exercise classes at our facility in Hidalgo, and we'll be measuring blood sugars and weight, and we'll be looking at how those improve with the nutrition and exercise classes, and see how that works. A similar program out of University of Texas San Antonio, Building a Healthy Temple. This program has been quite successful with a number of churches in the San Antonio area, and we're currently hoping to partner with them in extending that program to the Valley, and we've been working on a proposal for that. So we're waiting to see if that proposal comes through. But in the meantime, we're needing to get everything ready to be prepared for what God has to bring Our vision is to be a community resource in Hidalgo, Texas, for education and training and ministry, and to meet the needs of our community. And also, we're wanting to be a link or a bridge of communication with our communities of faith and churches along the border and beyond, to share ideas and resources and work together. We were glad to host the Caravan of Hope just this past Saturday. They were able to have a worship service at our facility in Hidalgo with Reverend Chad Lawson and Cali Fernandez from the Immigration Task Force were there. And that is something that we would like to continue to be able to do, to offer our facility for use. We're trying to improve our facilities. We're in an old Baptist church that in need of a roof. We're trying to expand our kitchen to allow for cooking classes, and a number of other repairs so that we can be prepared for God's work on the border. Thank you.
The chair is delighted to welcome home the Reverend Lemuel Garcia and invite him to bring greetings from the Presbyterian Mission Agency and to inform us about being a transformative church in this intercultural era. Welcome.
Buenos días. Amados, amadas, miembros del Presbiterio Misión, es un gran placer para mí poder estar aquí con mi familia. Moderador, gracias. It is truly a privilege, a joy to be back with my family in Mission Presbytery. After all, I was ordained by Mission Presbytery in 1996. It's been a while. But as I look around the room, I see many familiar faces I've known for many years. And while I'm serving our denomination in Louisville, Kentucky, the Presbyterian Mission Agency, I'm a Mission Presbytery member, and my roots are here in Texas. I went to Pan American School in Kingsville back in the early 80s, so I'm a product of the ministries and mission of Mission Presbytery. But let me wear my other hat as a PMA, Presbyterian Mission Agency servant, and I'm glad we're listed there. We're number one, I guess. We're the first one. So on behalf of the Presbyterian Mission Agency and our new director, president, director, Diane Moffett, I bring greetings to you all. And bring you an invitation to join us in becoming a Matthew 25 church. I'm sure you have heard about Matthew 25. After all, this was passed as a resolution in the 2016-222 General Assembly. And just in case you may have forgotten what we voted on, because every General Assembly we vote on new things, and we tend to forget what happened in years past. I hope this is not the case. Back in 2016, let me read from those minutes, 22nd General Assembly. It is a moment of great opportunity for our church. Momentum is building within our denomination and throughout our society to courageously confront the challenges of our time. A new civil rights movement, a new peace movement, a new economic justice movement is on the rise, and we are in a position to stand in solidarity with the poor in a uniquely powerful way. It is a time for us to define who we will be for decades to come. May we choose to be a church committed to the gospel of Matthew 25. We see the Spirit blowing through our society, bringing to fruition seeds of peace and justice, long dormant. The harvest will be plentiful. Let us heed the call to service and recommit ourselves to the proclamation of the gospel of Jesus Christ in deeds as well as in works. And we're all reminded of Matthew 25. I won't read the whole passage, but just the words of Christ that tells us, I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me, naked and you clothed me. I was ill and you comforted me, in prison and you came to visit me. Friends, as a Presbyterian Mission Agency, we have adopted a mission work plan. So in 2019 and 2020, we are committing as a Presbyterian Mission Agency to work on three main areas, which are evangelism and discipleship, leader formation, justice, and reconciliation. And even as I'm making this invitation to join us, I realize that Mission Presbytery is already engaged into many of these great deeds and works. So you may not know it yet, but you are already a Matthew 25 Presbytery. So let us continue the good work of being a church, not just for, but with the least of these. And that brings me to the next, being a transformative church in this intercultural era. Out of these emphases, out of this commitment and vision, let me remind you of what the 223rd General Assembly approved. And those of you who were commissioners and who attended the General Assembly may have heard and may remember that the General Assembly approved this initiative to declare an imperative for the reformation of the Presbyterian Church in being a transformative church in this intercultural era. Big words. You know, we like big words as Presbyterians, and we create wonderful documents, you know, that we hope people will read in their congregations and take to heart and begin to do something about that. Well, I've been ordained 96. Back in 96, those of you who were around that time remember that the General Assembly passed a strategy, church growth strategy. They call it the Racial, Ethnic, Church Growth Strategy. It was rather ambitious. Back then, we only had 4.5% people of color in the whole denomination. Can you believe it? 4.5% in 1996. And we committed ourselves, I thought we were committing ourselves, to grow the church deep and wide by increasing our people of color membership by 10% by the year 2000. Are you following? and then 20% by the year 2010. Well, guess what? We are almost in 2020. Where are we now? We're still less than 10%. I don't share this as an indictment or as a critique but friends, I believe that if we're going to yet produce another document like this one, being a transformative church in this intercultural era, and then it's just going to gather dust in some file, then here we go again, trying to be someone or something different by doing the same things. So I hope that you would dust off this document, that you would go back to the minutes of the General Assembly. Better yet, that you would talk to me and ask me for a copy of this initiative, which I will be glad to share with you. I brought a few copies. Better yet, you can download this copy of being a transformative church in this intercultural era from our web pages. And just to whet your appetites on what the General Assembly approved, and that is a mandate, folks. I guess we don't have an option. If we're Presbyterian and if the General Assembly approves something as a mandate, we better follow it or we will be disregarding the will of the General Assembly as they were led by the Holy Spirit. Yes, we're going to declare an imperative to be an intercultural church. Yes, we're going to declare the period from 2020 to 2030 as the decade of intercultural transformation. And yes, you know, I'm reading, you know, all of these, they have a lot of words I'm just extracting. I like this. Immediately denounce the persistent and demonic presence of racism and the misuse of power and privilege in our individual and institutional lives. I hope we've done that in this Presbytery. Invest in training and identifying trained anti-racism facilitators who will provide a geographically accessible and affordable network for congregations and mid-councils, and develop a process for connecting facilitators and congregations and mid-councils who seek assistance. And it goes on and on. I'm reading another of the mandates. Strongly encourage mid-councils and congregations to hold white privilege recognition, cultural humility, and anti-racism training throughout the church and commit themselves to disrupting racism and intersectional inequality, including intercultural and intracultural realities. I like number 8, one of those mandates. And I'm sorry for this brevity of time, but I may take one more minute from the time given to me. Direct all of our agencies, including PMA, OGA, to equip congregations and mid-councils to form intercultural coalitions, networks, new worshiping communities, and congregations across the church that worship, work, share meals, study, share communion, and advocate for racial and intercultural justice with respectful awareness and appreciation of each other's ethnicities, cultures, socioeconomic status, able-bodiedness, gender and sexual identity, and expression and languages. There's more to share. Like I said, I have a few copies here, and you can email me, lemuel.garcia@pcusa. I will share this document to you, and I will include a link with plenty of resources we already have in your denomination, like Facing Racism, a vision of the intercultural community. And this is our church-wide anti-racism policy. And guess what? There are some study guides. I will send you the link where you can download these documents. And there will be, as we prepare for the decade of intercultural transformation, which starts in 2020, there will be task groups forming. We will be looking at all of the resources that have been created. We will dust them off. We will make them available to you all. We've got these resources, folks. The good news about being intercultural is that the whole country is becoming already intercultural. While maybe we're not. But let me let me share with you about 1001. 1001 new worshiping communities. Half of those new worshiping communities are led by people of color. And that gives me a lot of hope that we're doing something transformational, that we're doing something different. I serve the racial equity and women's intercultural ministries of the Presbyterian Church, and we've got dedicated offices that work with 6 of our people of color constituencies. So if you need resources for Korean ministries, Hispanic ministries, Native American ministries, Asian ministries, Middle Eastern ministries, African ministries, African American ministries, talk to me. I will refer you to the right person. We also have offices for gender and racial justice, offices for leadership development and recruitment for leaders of color, schools and colleges equipping communities of color. We work in partnership with the Pan American School, women's leadership development, and young women's ministries. Friends, I'm happy to share all these resources with you. After all, we're all members of the same family, and we say better together. However, when we look around the room, we may realize someone is not at the table. How can we be together if they are not at the table? Help us to extend God's radical welcome and hospitality to people we encounter, to create those coalitions, to embrace one another, to welcome one another as Christ has welcomed us. Then, and only then, friends, we can be better together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The chair invites the stated clerk to give the stated clerk's report.
Yes, the stated clerk report is Report K in the packet. I invite you to take a look at that if you have not already done so. I do want to thank all the congregations who submitted their 2018 statistical reports. The deadline for those reports has completely passed, not just yours, but mine as well. So if you didn't get it done this year, oops. But guess what? It's coming back next year. You'll have another chance. The ones that are listed in there are ones that came in when the report was written and put into the Presbytery packet. There are some additional churches that have gotten theirs in who maybe are not listed. If your church is not listed and you are 100% sure that you did submit your statistical report, check with me, not today, but give me a call at the office or email me and I'll double check and confirm that yours are in. A few things that have changed for session minute reviews. So if you are a clerk of session in the room, this is for you. For the rest of you, take this information back to your clerks of session. There is a new checklist that's on the website to be used for session minute reviews. Starting this year, you can submit your session minutes for review as a PDF. You can email those to me. You do not have to make copies and send them to me. So if you want to do it that way, please do. We're also continuing to have regional meetings for session minute reviews and also for training for clerks. The first one this year was held in Corpus Christi in February. The next one will be April 27th. That's the Saturday after Easter. And that will be at Westlake Hills here in Austin. So we do invite folks to come. And I get asked by clerks, can we only come to one of these if it's in our region? No. If you want to drive farther, you can do so. The one in Corpus, we had a church from Austin that came down to the one that we had in Corpus. So no, you don't have to just go to those regions, but we're trying to make it a little bit easier for you to get to those. Another thing I want to share with you all, some of you may have seen this, but maybe you haven't, is that the Presbytery now has the ability to take online donations. We are getting there, folks. So if you go to the homepage, there you'll see the Donate Now button. You can click on that. It will take you to the page. You can donate to the Shared Mission Support if you'd like to do that. You can also donate to specific projects as those come up, including you can still donate to help fund the bus for Youth Triennium. There is a section there for you to click on that and to be able to do that. So we invite you to take a look at that as well. I do have one item for action that needs to be brought to the Presbytery. First Presbyterian Church of Alice held a congregational meeting on Sunday, February 17th to vote on the future of the church, and they bring the following motion that comes from them: that Mission Presbytery concur with the request of First Presbyterian Church of Alice, Texas, that they be dissolved as of December 31st, 2019. So I bring that motion to you.
Thank you, friends. You've heard the motion. It does require a second. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the request from the First Presbyterian Church of Alice that they be dissolved as of December 31st, 2019. Are there any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. And all those opposed say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. The motion passes.
Finally, I'd like to give you all some more numbers because we haven't had enough of those today. Here we go with the attendance. So the attendance for this meeting, we had 108 ministers, aka teaching elders, 118 ruling elder commissioners, 8 members of general council who are not teaching elders, 7 commissioned pastors, 3 certified associate Christian educators, for a subtotal of voting members of 244. We had 5 corresponding members, 9 presenters given voice, 33 visitors and guests, and 4 presbytery staff, for a subtotal of non-voting members of 51, bringing our attendance of this meeting to 295. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. The chair would like to invite the Reverend Carol Ron to lead us in prayer in light of the vote that we've just taken, and then to give the Pastoral Care Committee report.
And I ask your indulgence to allow me to do this from the floor. As I've been telling people, I am hobbling because I have to utter a sentence I never thought I would ever have to say in my life. I over-exercised. But let us now come together in prayer. God of all creation, Lord of our yesterdays, our today, and our tomorrows, as we hear the news of the First Presbyterian Church in Alice closing by the end of this year, we grieve. We grieve for the members of that church, for the pastor and the staff. It is hard to close a church that has meant so much to so many people over the decades. But as we grieve, we also give you thanks for the ministries that they have participated in. We have heard their name called in giving both yesterday and today, and we are thankful for their generosity. We are thankful for them being a presence in a small town in South Texas, where they can open both their doors and their hearts to serve the neighbors in their community. Lord, let this be a time of yes and, that the legacy of this congregation might be known in the community and in this presbytery As we celebrate their ministry, may we also celebrate the legacy that they leave with us, as all of us to continue to serve Jesus Christ as our Lord and our Savior. Amen. I am still Carol Ron, and I am now coming to give the Pastoral Care Committee report. It is in the packet that you had for this meeting. We met after I gave that report, and I am excited to say that we are doing a lot of new things this year. We've got a lot of plans going on, and I hope some of them will be reported to you in the near future. One of the things that we intentionally do a lot of is praying. We pray for the folks who are going through difficulties in the presbytery, be they pastors, be they commissioned elders, be they educators or members of congregations or friends. We pray. We also celebrate. And one thing that I always say when I go to the Committee on Ministry meetings is, we want to hear from you. We want to know who needs the prayers in your congregation. We want to know if there is struggle, so that we can pray, so that we can reach out. We're going to try and have regional representatives this year, so that all the regions will have someone that they know that they can call and they can count on to provide care. So help us to be not just a praying committee on our own, but a living praying community that we reach out to you all as well. One of the times that we can pray is right now, as we have the necrology report, and we remember and give thanks to those teaching elders and ruling elders who have died during this year. They will scroll on the screens, and I hope that you will take the time to read the names and to give thanks to God for the ministries that are witness to there. So let us come together and remember our faith.
In the Lord
And now I'm not sure exactly, I have the privilege of giving a certificate for honorable retirement to the Reverend Sonia Daglish. If you will come up and join me here. Sonia has been part of this presbytery for several years now. We have been graced by her ministry, first as a hospice chaplain in New Braunfels. Then she took the interim ministry course and caught that bug and has been interim in Westaco, Stinton, Kingsville, and finally Oak Hill in San Antonio. And these churches have been privileged to have her leadership as they have gone through their own transitions. So she is now retiring and will find other ways to be a minister to us. I am absolutely sure of that. And so we will not miss you, because you will continue to be one of us. And I'm delighted to introduce you to honorable retirement. May you only retire 3 or 4 times.
She speaks from experience.
Yes, this is my second retirement, and of course I do this. But I hope this one sticks, but it'll still be wonderful to have you around, indeed. Yes. So thank you. Would you like to say anything?
Certainly. You ordained me in 1996, along with Lim Well, along with Michelle Norris, and I know many other people here. And I have served you with joy. And this does not end my ministry, but it closes one chapter to open another chapter. The call, once you hear God's call, it continues throughout your life, but it can change, and you can be called to many different things. As long as I am alive, I will be serving God, and I will be serving the church, as I know all of you will as well. I feel that I've been called to write more and act less. So I will be spending more time in consideration of what I should be writing. As many of you know, a number of years ago, I wrote my first mystery and I published it. And some of you even were kind enough to read it. And I hope that I can grow in ability so that I may use fiction in order to explain the faith to a country that seems to know less and less about what it means to follow Christ and to be a Christian, and what it means to be able to live a life of faith, to understand what the Westminster Catechism has said to us, that our chief purpose in life is to love God and to enjoy God forever, and to understand what it means to love other people and to live a life of grace, shunning ostentation and showing love and acceptance and welcome to every single human being because they are created in the image of God, and also to love this earth that God has created and calls good. From the beginning of my time as an inquirer, I have looked around me and I have seen people who were ordained to the Presbyterian Church, and I have admired them. And I have wanted to be part of them before I was ordained, and I still want to be part of you, because I can find no other group of people that I enjoy the company of more. So I thank you very much for supporting me in my ministry, for being my friends and my colleagues in ministry, and allowing me to serve with you. Thank you, and I continue to serve, just in different ways. Thank you all.
And thank you.
Before I discharge us with a word of prayer, I do want you to join me in thanking Pastor Leon Bloder, his staff, and the members of this church for their warm hospitality. Thank you. I mean, when we pulled in and we saw the yard signs, we knew this was going to be a real treat. Their hospitality hasn't ended. When this meeting concludes, I am told there are pulled pork sandwiches and lunch in the display room. They invite you to come and grab something to eat before you have to depart. So we thank you for that as well. Friends, let us pray. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Let the people of God say, Amen. Friends, we stand adjourned until our next meeting, June 21 and 22, when we will gather together at Crossroads Church in San Antonio. We are adjourned.